Michelle Tracy. Welcome to this edition of CNBC's Smart Living. CNBC is a 24-hour cable network that provides a unique combination of money-oriented programming and intriguing interactive talk shows. CNBC, first in business, first in talk. Once a month, Smart Living provides you with information that will keep you informed in the marketplace. If you'd like a copy of our poster study guides, please call us at 201-585-6469 or write to CNBC, 2200 Fletcher Avenue, Fort Lee, New Jersey, 07024. Attention Laura Ward. And here's a look at what stories you'll be seeing in this edition of Smart Living. We start off this show with a look at the fledgling common market of Southern Africa. Here is CNBC's Ron Insana.
Well, even as we speak, the Southern African Development Community, led by Nelson Mandela and comprised of 12 African nations, is meeting to decide what to do about its fledgling common market. The summit is sure to have some significant implications not only for the African continent, but also for North America. Joining us now to discuss this in our weekly Geonomics segment is Jim Rogers of Rogers Holdings. Good to see you, sir. Thanks for being here.
One of my best parts of the week is coming here on Friday afternoon to talk to you.
All right, let's get us straight on the geography of all this. We're not talking about just South Africa. We are talking about Southern Africa.
Right. Well, Africa is a country that's got a continent that has 57 countries in it, but what we're talking about is the part right down here, because it's ironic, you know, during all the years when the whites dominated South Africa, everybody was Southern Africans were afraid that they might be taken over by the South Africans. Now it looks like it might happen because all of these countries, these 12 countries, are now trying to form a common market for the whole southern part of Africa. If that works, this could be one of a very, very dynamic part of the world in the future, growing very rapidly because it's a big market with lots of natural resources.
Let's talk about the top 5 countries in the region here, the biggest being, of course, South Africa.
Yeah, well, it is. But first, let me just run down the names because not everybody's going to be familiar with them. Angola, Botswana, which is an exciting country as far as I'm concerned, Lesotho, which is a small country in South Africa, Malawi, Mauritius, which is an island out here in the Pacific, Mozambique, I'm wildly bullish on Mozambique, Zimbabwe, I've got money in Zimbabwe, Zambia, Tanzania, I'm very optimistic about, Swaziland, which is right here, South Africa, and Namibia. These are the 12 countries which are trying to come together and have a common market. Now, you made a very good point. Which are the big ones? Because some of these are really very, very tiny countries. The big ones in population, South Africa obviously is the dominant force. Tanzania's got a lot of people. Mozambique, right, these right over here. These are very big countries, Zimbabwe and Malawi. The total is about 140 million people in the whole 12 countries. But as you can see, the big 5 have about 80% of the population of the area.
All right, now, these are big countries by African standards, but they are relatively small by geographic standards when you talk about powerful nations around the earth.
Great point. That's why they're trying to get together, because none of them have a big enough market to make it worthwhile. But you put together 12 countries and 140 million people, then, plus a big geographic area with lots of natural resources, you might be able to develop a fast-growing entity. And again, totally dominated by South Africa. The rest of them combined are only about a quarter of the economy that South Africa has. But if you put together that engine with a lot of people and a lot of markets, you can see, and this is Mandela's theory and all of their theory, that we will have a very rapidly growing area. Now, as you can see, the rich ones are here, not so rich, and the poor ones are all up here in the north. So you're trying to combine cheap labor with natural resources, and then we'll get something going.
All right, now we tried this with NAFTA, and the argument is that the cheap labor siphons off the economic development of the more developed countries, and so this is not always an easy thing to achieve, and overlay on that some political problems like tribal warfare and a host of other considerations, and it's not an easy task.
Terrific observation. A lot of these countries, one of the reasons that some of these countries have been so growing so slowly and have such a low per capita income is because they've had protection. They've protected these economies, and as you pointed out, with a small country with 15 million people or something, if you protect your industry, you really can't compete with anybody else in the world. It's absurd. It's madness. So putting the industries together in a big common market, there's certainly going to be disruptions, as we're finding out in NAFTA. when the common market was formed in Europe.
Right.
Huge disruptions at first, but look at it now.
All right, now what about the respective growth rates here? Again, we've kind of color-coded these to show who's doing
Well,
what.
interesting. South Africa has been a disaster. Angola because of the war, and this is Zimbabwe. South Africa suffered from sanctions, and so they couldn't grow very rapidly. They had this terrible war. The theory now is that since investment is pouring into Southern Africa and to South Africa, and peace is coming to Angola, you're going to see a very explosive growth rate. And if you tear down the barriers between the countries, then you're going to grow very quickly.
All right, now let's walk through some of the considerations here. Nelson Mandela, who is at times said to have socialist leanings, even though he does want to open up South Africa economically, is trying to put this economy back together. What are the pitfalls here, since this is probably the engine for Southern African growth?
That's very good, because Nelson Mandela was a former socialist, but since he's taken over, he's a lot smarter. He says a lot better things. He understands what has to be done to develop the South African economy and Southern Africa. And as you can see, by the way, you can see that the market seems to agree that what he's been doing now is a lot better than what he did before. However, Nelson Mandela is 78 years old. Now, if Nelson Mandela were 55 years old, I'd have a lot more confidence in this whole part of the world than I do, because the people who are going to succeed Nelson Mandela, I'm afraid there might be a lot of, warfare or power struggles, a lot of problems going on. If that happens, then as wonderful as this is in theory, the whole thing could really be ripped apart.
Yeah, let's talk about that, because there seem to be three power factions of great importance in South Africa: the Inkatha Party, run by Buthelezi, the ANC with Nelson Mandela, and still those who led the apartheid of previous years.
Right.
How does that shake out?
Well, there are 11 official ethnic groups in South Africa alone. I don't mean black and white. I mean, there are 11 groups. So you've seen we've had tribal warfare in other parts of Africa, so it could erupt down there. However, Angola's been through the war. Mozambique has been through the war. These other countries have been through their wars. If I weren't here, if I didn't have to come to work every Friday out here at CNBC, I'd be going out here to Mozambique right now, Tanzania. These are some very exciting countries. They're very, very cheap. A lot of stuff going on. In Mozambique, they will give you the old Portuguese plantations if you'll restore them. It doesn't get any cheaper than give it to you.
No, but unless you got, a motorcycle and a couple $1 million in the bank, you ain't going to do that. So how do you play this game if you're not going to be traveling the world, scouring it for investment opportunities?
Well, if you are a real entrepreneur, you might want to consider going to some of these countries. Botswana has a stock exchange. South Africa has a stock exchange. Namibia has a stock exchange. Zambia has a stock exchange. There are several stock exchanges. Mauritius has a stock exchange. There are several stock exchanges down there. Or if you're looking for sources of natural resources, they're now all trying to open up and attract investment. So if you're an entrepreneur, there are ways to play. If you're a stock market player, there are ways to play. And if you're an observer, if you're a journalist,
there are ways to play, except that we are restricted by certain rules.
Right.
Let's talk a little bit about the resource question. South Africa, obviously known for precious metals and diamonds. ASA Limited is the gold mining concern most closely associated with the country. That's not so much a play on South Africa as it is really on the price of gold, right?
You're right, but one of the problems with South Africa that they're having right now is their gold mining costs are going up and up and up, and their reserves are going down, so they're not such a big play, a major competitive factor anymore. But these countries, Zimbabwe's opening gold mines now, Tanzania's opening gold mines. There's a lot of gold here, which the old former socialist governments tried to operate. Well, you know as well as I do, a government can't operate anything, much less a gold mine. But now they're turning them over to entrepreneurs, private entrepreneurs, and gold production is rising throughout all this part of Africa, including diamonds out of Angola. So you're seeing some really serious changes in other parts of this complex.
Enough to depress the world price of gold, or is it just marginal?
It's one of the reasons that the price of gold, in my analysis, has not gone up yet, because there is a lot of gold coming out of these African countries. Ghana's exploding as far as gold production is concerned, South America too, Siberia. Once you turn things over to private enterprise, they get a whole lot more efficient. There's a lot of central banks selling in gold too. There are various factors involved with the gold market.
And the Beardstown ladies are a group of senior citizens from a tiny town in Illinois who outperformed. It's called A Stitch in Time Guide to Growing Your Nest Egg. Money Club reporter Brenda Butner recently spent some time with...
And this one, not exactly where you'd expect to find a group of grandmas, but these aren't just any little old ladies. They're the Beardstown ladies. And everywhere they go, everyone wants a share of their secrets.
You said you didn't have a lot of time to spend.
You recommend blue chip stocks?
Your recommendation, right?
This world-famous investment club made a name for itself by beating the pants off the Wall Street wizards year after year, using a common-sense philosophy. Now, the self-proclaimed country gals have another message. You can grow your nest egg, too. First, start saving, and start saving now, even if you're a long way from hitting 75, as Maxine Thomas did this year.
This is so important. I've been a widow for 15 years, and if we had not planned for it, it would have really been, well, I would have been working someplace, you know, cleaning tables or something.
An important part of your plan, sort out your spending, figure out your wants versus needs, and always be on the lookout for bargains, no matter how much money you have. You never find a Beardstown lady paying full price.
I know, well, that 30% off.
Oh, well, that isn't so bad.
What is bad? Credit cards, unless you have your spending under control.
You pay them off every month? Every month. I don't have any interest. I don't pay them any interest.
One way to find the money to sock away, pay yourself first.
The things that we're purchasing, this is above and beyond our investments. Our investments come first. Our savings plan comes first. Then, if there's a little extra left over, then we have those for the extra things.
But it's not enough to just save. You have to take advantage of the magic of compounding. That is, let your money earn interest and let its interest earn more interest.
Well, handbags are one place to put your money, but there are better places, aren't there?
Well, that's why we're looking for bargains today. We like to get the most that we can out of our money so that we can use the extra to invest. And looking forward to that nest egg we're building.
Where to put that nest egg? Most of the ladies' savings wind up here, in the stock market.
If you look back at the history, stocks have given a better return than other types of investments, about double what corporate bonds, municipals, CDs, and all. And so we think this is a very good place to put part of your money.
But the ladies say, you better shop around. Whether you're looking for shoes or stocks, do your homework.
Up volume, 126 million, down volume, 92 million.
Well, hey, they are different.
It's going to split 2 for 1.
You better shop around.
I hope we make a lot of money.
Well, I hope we do too.
But as the ladies will tell you, making money is only the first step. Making it work as hard as you do is the key to putting a shine on your golden years.
So do you think there's a tough job market out there? Well, it depends on what you're looking for. In fact, there's a blue-collar bonanza right now. The shortage of skilled workers has become so acute that factories are actually hiring headhunters. NBC's Linda Vester explains why.
From small machine shops
the universal cry is help, help, help.
to giant auto plants,
Help, help, help.
the manufacturing industry is in dire need of the best and brightest.
No matter which sector of skilled manufacturing you turn to, the universal cry is we don't have enough skilled technical people.
And what does it call for?
Ed Nowak runs the Do Right Screw Corporation in Chicago. He needs to hire 4 to 6 screw machinists, skilled tradesmen who make precision-tooled fasteners for automakers and other heavy industries. He can pay $15.50 an hour plus benefits, but he cannot find skilled workers.
They'd rather be working without oil, without shop clothes, and be in the professional ranks.
Yes, Beverly from Tom McCall Executive Search.
This Chicago job search company has found white collars don't sell nearly as well as blue collars.
The manufacturers are like coming to us, like begging for our help for the skilled labor, which we cannot provide to them because there are not enough people out there for it.
According to one study, more than half of America's manufacturers say they're having trouble finding qualified people. Why the shortage? In recent years, many people predicted that manufacturing in this country was dying, that the only way to gain a secure future was by going to college and going white collar. Fewer people wanted to go to vocational schools.
2,000 subbing in, .002 is the maximum.
But now enrollment is growing at schools like this one in Michigan.
Well, my future ain't in college. My future is working with my hands.
Hands and heads. Students here are taught today's jobs go to those who can think, those who can master math and computers. That's the kind of employee the big three automakers, Chrysler, Ford, and General Motors, are after, as they look to fill 200,000 blue-collar jobs by the year 2003. By then, 250,000 workers will retire or be eligible to retire, a rapidly graying workforce.
I go on my computer here.
Ronald Campbell is one of them. In 9 months, he'll leave the assembly line of this Chrysler plant near Detroit.
It's changed so much that that's why I think it's time for me to go. I mean, there's so much new technology, so much that I don't know about. It sort of scares me.
His replacement can't afford to be so technophobic on a line where they build one Jeep Cherokee every 52 seconds. Terry Lemon, a newcomer here, has already figured out that the factory floor is changing. He's going back to school to learn more about computers.
I think most of all what the company is looking for is they're looking for people that are willing to learn.
And if Chrysler and other companies can't find enough of this kind of worker here in the U.S.,
if you don't have skilled workers in America, the jobs that need those workers will simply be located somewhere else in the world.
The bottom line for American manufacturers is a challenge to American workers. Shape up, or some good-paying jobs will be shipped out. Linda Vester, NBC News, Chicago.
Music clubs have become the hottest way to buy music, compact discs or cassettes. Nearly 1 in 5 of us has joined a mail-order music club in recent years. So are they as good a deal as they sound? Well, our Sheila Steinbach visited Consumer Reports magazine to find out how the biggest clubs stacked up.
We think they're worth considering for almost anyone who buys music.
Consumer Reports magazine looked at the most popular mail-order music clubs, BMG Music Service and Columbia House. Their claims arrive in the mail and over the airwaves. Buy 10 CDs and get one free, or get 10 for a penny. Too good to be true?
You have to keep in mind that you do have to pay shipping and handling on the free CDs that you're getting.
Such costs can run almost $4 per CD, according to the magazine, which is not quite 10 free CDs. And many of these clubs do not have certain big-name artists.
Neither club carries the Beatles or Pink Floyd.
Or the Rolling Stones. These groups do not participate because the music clubs pay less in royalties than music stores pay. And how do the clubs stack up against each other? BMG Music Service offers 9 categories of music, while Columbia House offers 13 to its members. BMG is best for the boxed sets it offers and incentives if you get friends to join. Columbia House is best for the Sony artists it carries, Streisand, Springsteen, Billy Joel, not available through BMG. The average minimum outlay to fulfill membership in BMG is about $40. For Columbia House, the same average comes out to about $100. But some people still prefer music stores.
Besides the greater variety of CDs that music stores offer, they also offer these listening stations where you can listen to the CDs before you buy them. Well, Consumer Reports suggests you take advantage of these listening stations to listen to CDs before you buy them from a music club.
Most of the clubs allow you to quit at any time, but if you want to join, do it soon. The magazine says record stores, record companies, and their artists are growing restless with the club's prices, so they may not remain this low for long. Sheila Steinbach for Steals and Deals.
Each club has several introductory offers available, and the one you received in the mail may not be.
And upward, never looking down. All the risks are known. And though some may falter, one thing will never change. Nothing ventured, nothing gained. When it comes to investing, it's important to gain as much as you can. And these days, very few investments offer the gains that government-regulated exchange-traded options offer. Call Universal Commodity Corporation and discover how an investment of $5,000 in unleaded gasoline could turn into over $20,000 in less than 12 months. Take the step upward and call to receive a complete investment kit that answers the most commonly asked questions about commodities exchange-traded options as an investment. There is no cost or obligation, so call now for your free information kit and pull yourself to the top in 96.
It's a mental war, a life-and-death struggle with low self-esteem. In fact, each year, 1,000 women die from anorexia.
Having my stomach cave in or feeling every rib and being able to count it it was never enough. I thought I could get thinner.
That obsession with weight is a disease. 5 million Americans suffer from eating disorders, like anorexia and bulimia, a condition where women force themselves to purge. They induce vomiting and abuse laxatives. 9 out of 10 patients are young women, most in their teens and early 20s. They tend to be overachievers, often described as perfectionists.
Very often, women and men with eating disorders don't seek help, and they're out there on the college campus and sometimes hidden, and can run into significant medical problems.
Secrecy is one of the biggest obstacles to getting help. Because so many sufferers try to hide their eating disorder, the national screening promises students confidentiality. Recording their names isn't important. Identifying their problem is.
It will help move those in need into treatment. So it truly can save lives, and it can affect those lives who could be seriously damaged by eating disorders.
On most campuses, talk of calories and fat grams is incredibly common. The American Journal of Psychiatry found that 70% of young women don't like their bodies and want to lose weight.
I've yet to meet a woman my age that doesn't think about what she eats or how she looks.
Students say living on campus makes it easier for young women to diet in groups and pass on obsessive habits like over-exercising or abusing laxatives.
When I first lost the weight, I found myself sometimes drinking a laxative tea at night after I ate like a lot of junk food, so that I can hopefully flush that right out of my system right away.
I think there's kind of a competition between girls, kind of like a silent competition. It's like you see someone, you go, God, I want to look like her.
When that competition turns into a compulsion to be thin, simple dieting becomes a serious health risk. Jeannie Cooley once called food her enemy. Now, after years of therapy, she's recovering.
I'm not afraid to sit down and eat anymore. I don't feel like I have to be a size 3 anymore.
That realization saved her life. Kelly O'Donnell, NBC News, Los Angeles.
They tell you they can see into your future, but some psychic hotlines are set up to burn a hole through your wallet every time you dial those pricey 900 numbers. Herb Denenberg talks with one insider to find out how some readers tell and steal fortunes.
This is an opportunity for you to change your life by calling right now and speaking with your own personal psychic.
You've seen the ads.
My psychic insisted I go to a certain party, and that's where I met the man I'm going to marry.
But what happens when you call a psychic hotline? Can they really predict your future?
What he had told me, part of it came out all right. At least I felt better. Like I said, I got a better job, and things are looking better for me.
Or do they prey on the lonely, the poor, and the desperate?
Someone would be broke or out of work and crying the blues.
This is El Mario. He was a psychic with the Psychic Readers Network.
I honestly never believed I would have real money in my life. My psychic reader showed me how.
This infomercial tells people to call a free 1-800 number. When they call, they're directed to call a 1-900 line. Mario says his main job was to keep people on the 1-900 line so they could run up big charges.
And whether they're broke or not, they want them to be on that phone. The company wants them on the phone. That's your main gig, is to keep them on the phone.
And he says he was fired from the Psychic Readers Network, not because he wasn't a good psychic, but because he did not keep people on the phone long enough at $3.99 a minute. Here are some of the techniques Mario says psychics use to stretch the call out.
I got to look deeper into you. Also, do you have a boyfriend or a girlfriend, whatever the case may be? Give me their birthday and what city they were born in, and let me take a look at them, or your children, let's take a look at them, and it makes it even longer, and just keep stretching it and stretching.
And one expert says this is typical of the psychic hotline industry.
They're pretty much trained just to keep the suckers on the line as long as they can, and thereby make their money.
And how psychic are the psychics? We decided to sample some ourselves, so we called the 900 number for advice. You think I need therapy? Do the cards tell you that? I told the psychic I was shy, and she said my shyness was just a cover-up since I did not have the skills to get a good job.
Just trying to think what my future might entail. You know, is marriage in my future, kids, whatever.
They even told this man he might get married, and they see children in his future. One problem. They were talking to a priest who we asked to help us check out the psychics. And what did the psychic see in this priest's future?
That I'm going to meet a very special someone in March or April.
Did he give you the exact date?
The exact date, yes. It's either March 24th or April 8th.
And the psychic expert says that the people who staff some hotlines are trained to sound like they know what they're talking about, even when they don't.
They can teach you to pretend you're reading tarot cards and that you're seeing visions of Aunt Lucy. These people are no more psychic than their pet poodle.
We called the Psychic Readers Network for a response. They said because our questions were so biased, they would have no comment on our story.
My psychic showed me the way.
These networks charge more than 2 or 3 times what a good psychiatrist, psychologist, or social worker would charge on an hourly basis. But if you really want to know about the future, some say there's only one place to go.
Nobody knows what I'm going to do tomorrow. I mean, you might know my schedule as far as where I'm going to be, but you don't know who I'm going to meet or what's going to happen to me. There's no way.
Only one guy knows.
That's right, the man upstairs.
He's not talking.
And he's not talking. He's not giving that information.
Please tune in April 7th for CNBC's Money Club for Students. Thanks for watching. I'm Michelle Tracy.
The preceding program is part of Cable in the Classroom, a service of the cable television industry and your local cable company.
Trees make a world of difference. Between sand and dirt and shaded parks for baseball, picnics, and quiet walks. Between steamy, sun-baked streets and friendly, shady neighborhoods, trees make a world of difference. Between shopping at just another area or discovering an area that's different, exciting, and fun. Between drab and unpleasant places and Tree City, USA's, where it's a pleasure to live every day. Trees are cool. Trees help conserve energy, give wildlife a home, and increase property values. They also clean the air we breathe, hold the topsoil, and keep rivers running clear. But trees don't just happen. Your town needs to plant trees and provide for their care to be a Tree City, USA. To learn about Tree City, USA, write the Arbor Day Foundation. Support Tree City, USA, and let trees make a world of difference for you.
Now, at 5 a.m. Eastern, live from Hong Kong, CNBC brings you the opening word on the closing Asian markets. Every weekday morning, only on CNBC, first in business worldwide.
Hi, everybody. I'm Janice Lieberman. Monday on Steals and Deals, beauty's only skin deep, so are wrinkles. Laser surgery zaps the years away. Plus, expert advice on how to live like a king on a pauper's budget. That's Monday night at 7:30 Eastern Time.
Saturday and Sunday on CNBC, it's an hour inside the Beltway when Tim Russert and Cal Thomas take Washington to the weekend. From newsmakers at the White House to the policymakers on Capitol Hill, Tim Russert and Cal Thomas, weekends at 6 only on CNBC, First in Talk.
Charles Grodin. Guests appear at their own risk.
Do you have anything hidden in the back of your head in that bun back there? Is that
the nasal machine.
Original, outspoken, offbeat. Charles Grodin. Only on CNBC.
You busted your back, you've nearly drowned yourself, and your car wash is still hit or miss. Next time, use a Shawala. A Shawala wash is the fastest, easiest, most thorough car wash there is. The giant washing surface cleans your entire car in no time, with the same type of material used in professional brushless car washes. So tough, it's virtually indestructible. And look, it would take all these ordinary sponges to equal the surface washing area of one Shawala. Nothing can hold more soap. Have a van? Then you've got to have a Shawala. No climbing, no straining. The extra long handle reaches even the highest vehicle. Cleans wheels and tires in seconds. There's never been a better wash than a Shawala wash. It's only $19.95, so order yours now.
Call toll-free 1-800-851-1400. That's 1-800-851-1400, or send $19.95 plus shipping and handling to Shawala, P.O. Box 4260, Omaha, Nebraska.
The following is a paid program. It expresses only the opinions of its producers and participants.
The following program is a paid commercial message from Health Rider Incorporated.
Hi, my name is Sherry Clark.
My name is Robert Senowitz.
Kathleen